Ahum, blessings. Namaste, bendiciones. And today we're going to talk about las barajas españolas, and it's the Spanish tarot cards. Very complicated, but boy, if you want to know everything, these are the cards for it. We're going to go through all the suits. You all know all 4 suits. We've got clubs, we've got swords, we've got cups, and we've got coins. We're going to go through the number 4 card. It's going to be the 4 of clubs, 4 of swords, 4 of cups, and 4 of coins. And we're going to go through them all in one video instead of chopping them for each one and making it just forever to finish and edit. I want to show you guys the number 4 cards. Okay, so sit back and relax, get your paper and pencil ready, and let's get going. Okay, so let's begin with the 4 of clubs. 4 of clubs. That signifies resistance. We all hate resistance, don't we? Right? This card gives people energy, intelligence, endurance, physical vigor, and emotional stability to get everything they want. But on the other side, situations that you've wanted all this time, you worked hard for all this time, all of a sudden become stagnant and last longer than what you desired for it to last. Does that ring a bell? Yeah, that happens everywhere. Oh, I wish this would happen. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm done with this. Next, and it doesn't move. It stays. And you're like, oh God, how do I get rid of this? Well, when it comes to the love aspect and you're doing a reading, a love reading, it indicates a long and solid relationship, but it may just be getting a little too heavy for you and you want out. Or maybe your client, what they need is, how do I make it better, right? As far as the health side, health is excellent. Health is fine. As far as financial and professional, that means everything is stable. Now, why do I call it the clubs of resistance? Because there is a resisting energy there. What is that resistance? The resistance comes from you. The resistance comes from, okay, so I really want this. I really want this. And now that I have it, I'm ready for something else. There comes the resistance. No, you really wanted this. So it's here for the long haul. So what do? We have to work through that resistance. You have to maneuver, not only spiritually, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually through that energy, because resistance is an energy, in order to move out of that scenario and continue to move forward. Can you do that? Yes, absolutely. How can you do that? Well, then you have to talk to your muertos, or you have to talk to your spirit guide and ask, hello, what do I do? How do I get myself out of this? Well, this is where they're going to come and say, well, you need some spiritual baths. Maybe you need to be the closer on this. Maybe you need to have a communication. Maybe you need to go see a therapist, marriage counseling, or a counselor, and have some couples therapy and work things out. Can it work? Yeah, it's just that energy that's making it stagnant, making it heavy. So you have choices on how to move forward, but your client is mostly coming to you for you to give them those choices. That's not your job. Your job is to guide them and tell them, well, you have all these resources that you can get, you can take and use. All right. And always, always give them choices that are filled with light and filled with love and great expectations, not only for your client, but for whoever or whatever it is that's happening on their side. Let's go to the Four of Swords. Four of Swords. This is the card that I call potholes. This is the pothole card. How do I remember it's a pothole card? Because all four swords are making a big hole, a big dent in the middle, right? So the ground falls and there's a pothole. It is not only about your client's peace of mind and tranquility, which in this case, and depending on if it comes out in the love or home or work or health, what you're reading here, what you're getting, and also depending on the cards that are around, all the suits that are around it, this card itself, what it's talking about is that your client will be fully immersed in situations of deception, of intrigue, extreme difficulties, scams, and discussions that they need to pay attention and try to avoid and not be part of. If it's on the health side, on the health reading, it is foreshadowing a disease that could possibly lead your client or yourself to some type of isolation, loneliness, withdrawal. It could be a physical disease that started as a mental disease or an emotional issue, turned into a mental health disease, and then it manifested in the physical aspect, and you find yourself in that type of withdrawal from society and people around you, loneliness, isolation. It also may be an obligatory exile. Okay. So whichever that is, that pothole, if you fall into the hole, you're alone, right? If you fall into that hole, things are not working. Things, especially in your health, in your mental health, you will feel obligated to go into an exile style lifestyle for that moment. Sometimes it symbolizes someone deserting you, someone going through death. It can also mean changes, like complete transformations. It represents where you, as the reader, will tell your client, hey, you need to practice really good inner strength. You need to get yourself out of this big, bad funk so that you're able to find your space of tranquility, okay? To have your spirit, your emotional, and your mental capacities produce thoughts that are filled with clarity so that you can move around with all the stuff that's happening, but you can still move around with ease and grace. Grace is huge, and especially going through this particular phase, wherever this may land, because all these things, you know, when you find your emotions and your mental health going through this spiritual paranoia, right? Or the supposed paranoia, where you feel deception, you feel intrigues, you feel people have scams, you feel people are lying to you, they're keeping something from you, you need to find out where this is coming from. Are you the one creating this reality for this card to come out? Or is there, in fact, something that you can prove that is really happening? That's really important for you to decipher for your client, because there may not be anything there, and they're the one creating that intrigue, that paranoia. So you have to get your cards, reshuffle, and ask, is this a reality that my client has produced, or is this really happening? And you will get the answer, because you want to make sure that you go, directly into that that answer. We can go to the Four of Cups. I don't know why, but I love cups. The Four of Cups is an instinct card. It mainly talks about sex and intimate relationships. This is where we give free rein to our instincts. So it's a good card to come out, because it includes any complex issues that we may have on our wilder side, and even including that wild side that we do have. If the client asks for about a person or relationship, and this card comes out, it means that the relationship is mainly dominated by sex. So it could indicate frivolity and just different sexual adventures. Your job is not to judge. It's a message. It is something that is telling you that is happening somewhere in their life. With cards around it that are more negative, have a negative connotation, negative message, and negative warnings, those cards, if they are around this card, and especially the ones right next to it or above and underneath, what we're looking at is possible problems with the reproductive system, or during a sexual encounter. If it is around gold coins, it indicates that finances or work that may not particularly be very legal needs to be resolved, and get away from that part of your life. Okay. So the four of cups, again, like all these cards, it gives you more than just one meaning, one message, and it's because of all the cards all around it. So you get an overall picture of what is happening for home, what is happening at work, what is happening, in your personal life, in your relationships, whatever it is that your health that you may want to work with. When we talk about the Four of Coins, it has to talk. It talks about your well-being. Basically, it's a well-being card. Okay, it represents prosperity and the arrival of success, especially in everything related to work and business. So if this card comes out in a business or a work spread, this card comes out, this is a good card for it to come out. It also predicts smart investments with great results and great benefits. But it also reminds the client of excessiveness in the love department for money. And, it kind of warns them, just don't be too greedy, especially with relatives that really need it. It foreshadows the arrival of a gift, maybe a loan, that will actually generate more security to face complications that are on its way. So this person is having great success in their business and stuff. Tell them, while don't be greedy with your relatives, but put money away, okay? Because some stuff might bring you a complication. So this gift or loan that is going to give you, it's going to give you more security, because there's complications that could come. And then what you do is you write that down, because you want to touch that message with another reshuffle, and see if you can get to what exactly is the complication. How far away is it? Okay. Depending on the cards that come around, it can announce important disorders, solutions that you've been waiting for a long time and they just don't arrive. Any problems with the law that can culminate even in an arrest. So this complication could possibly result in an arrest of some kind. So this card has many different things about their well-being. It actually can be used as a warning to your client, saying, hey, save your money, perhaps stay away from money that you may think that is, depending on the cards around, that this is going to help you, but instead it might bring you some complications, right? Okay, the next group of cards is going to be the number 5 cards. We're going to talk about all 4 suits. Thank you for joining me.